Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's not even morning, it's afternoon. Oh my gosh. Okay. I hope you guys can't hear that. It's like my computer doing its like it's too hot. Or is it like it's running some programs behind the scenes? Let me see if I can get that to turn off. Sorry. If it's really it's like the computer fan. So I'm trying to get it to turn off because it might be just overheating. Um, So if you guys can hear that, I'm really, really sorry. I'm ordering I'm gonna order some of those like old school headphones. Let me put in my oh, there we go. So in today's video, I want to talk about how to accomplish anything. Um Hold on one second. My Instagram is my YouTube is sorry, my Facebook is not doing what it's supposed to do. Um Okay, so it's I don't know. It was giving me a notice, but I think it's okay. If you're watching on Facebook, can you just like let me know if it sounds okay? So anyway, today I want to talk about how to accomplish anything, and this is very basic, but sometimes we need a little basic lesson, right? And I'm here today with my healthy wine. You guys know I've been drinking um, greens and reds forever now. I think it's like going on two years, and the reason is because I was experiencing some digestive issues and some bloating, and regular like probiotics weren't working because sometimes when probiotics are made, the bacteria is actually not strong enough to do what it's supposed to do. So they'll beef up the numbers of bacteria, and so I was looking for a product that was actually going to help with my digestion. And I was looking when I was younger, we used to take antioxidant pills and I couldn't find any. And so the reds actually have a ton of antioxidants and they help reduce oxidative stress on your body. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to give it a try. And I really haven't looked back since. It was actually like anytime I eat out or anytime I know I'm going to be having a bunch of food that's not necessarily my body's favorite. I just double up on my greens and reds, and this is my healthy wine, and I don't experience that crazy like sluggish aftermath that I usually feel when when I don't. So anyway, I've been drinking this forever. This is not real wine, you guys. Don't worry, I'm not drinking at 12 o'clock. I have clients today, so I wouldn't be able to even if I wanted to. But anyway, dropped Chase off at daycare this morning. Chase is my dog, for those of you who don't know. He loves it. It was so cute. He like we were walking into PetSmart because that's where I take him. Some days depends on the day that I take him to different places. And one of the caretakers was walking in and she was like, Chase. And he just lost his mind. And I was like, okay. Because, you do get worried that, like, what are these people doing? Right. Like, you don't know. I mean, they have photos and, things like that. But sometimes you're like, what are you doing with my animal? And he was just like beside himself when um, when he saw her. And I was like, great. I know. Um, I was like, oh, I know that you actually are having a good time here. So that was good. Um, and so anyway, I want to talk about how to accomplish anything. I'm going to give you guys four of my steps that I take. And I'm just going to talk about those briefly and then I'll wrap up. And please do not forget to like this video if it speaks to you, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these. Okay, so the first step is you have to believe that you can. And this sounds so dumb. I think sometimes people are like, oh, like, well, duh, I believe it. I said I want it. But sometimes I'll work with clients and like not even on weight loss, just like things that they want in their life. Well, I want to get married. I want to have, I want to change my career. I want to do this at work. I want to stand up for myself. And it's like, well, okay, we just went over all these steps for how to do that, and now you won't do it. And it's like, when you get to the heart of it, there's this belief that like you can't have that, or like that's not something that you deserve. And so you have to make sure that before you start saying that you want something and start working towards something, that you actually believe that you can do it. Because once you believe that you can do it, there's studies on this. This is particularly with athletic endeavors, believing that you can achieve an athletic goal or achieve an athletic endeavor is highly correlated with the success of that achievement. You have to actually believe it, because then you train like you can, you work hard as you can because you believe that you can. And the same thing goes for any other goal, right? I mean, okay, if if I'm being honest, um, when I first started my business, a part of me didn't believe that I could actually like have a business and run a business and for it to be successful nonetheless. And there's a part of me that still struggles with that. Mind you, I'm doing it, right? I'm still doing it. There's a part of me that's like, I'm not quite there yet. And we can delve into why and all that other stuff, but truly the why doesn't matter. Like what are you going to do next is what matters. And so believing that you can entail several things. Number one, envisioning what your life would actually be like with that experience. Why do you want that thing? What does it mean to you? I know I hate that, like all this conversation about knowing your why, but knowing your why does matter, because when you have a why, you're like, oh, I can do this because it means so much to me. Um, so if you believe that you can do something first, then you tend to do all of the little things around it to make sure that it happens. And we know this as it relates to psychology, that if people consistently say that they can't do something, they will seek out ways to affirm that. So if I think that I can't lose weight, I will subconsciously, purposefully seek out ways to reaffirm myself in that belief. And so, if you ever watch me at an athletic coaching session and athletes are like, I can't, I'm like, we don't talk like that. Like and the amount of times athletes have said, I can't do this, and then have been like 2 seconds later, in fact, have done the thing is astonishing, because I'm like, oh, you've told yourself you can't, and you weren't even going to try. And maybe that speaks to some of you. Like, you told yourself that you could never get healthy. You could never have a lifestyle that you wanted. You could never have the relationship that you wanted. You could never have the kinds of friendships that you wanted. And so you've actually not even really tried. Is that a word? Right? So the first step is you actually have to believe that you can. The second one is that you have to believe that you will. And the reason why this is in future tense is because it's very easy, like one day, to be like, I can do this. It's another thing to repeatedly and consistently say that I can do this today, I can do this tomorrow, I can do this the third day, and I can do it in the next year. So that little word, will versus can is like, I have the capability of doing that. Okay, so now we're like, okay, I'm capable. And then you're like, I will. And I will is more of the action piece of it. Is now that I believe that I can, what will I do next to support my endeavors? Right? So for my athletes, I'm like, okay, now that we've gotten over the fact that you believe that you can now, like, yes, you're going to run 10.5 this year. Yes, you're going to run 12.2. Yes, you're going to run 11.9, whatever it is. Now, what are you willing to do to achieve that? You have to believe that you will do whatever it takes, because you have to reaffirm that belief, right? So, what will you do and what are you willing to do now? So, for me, in my business, am I willing to sacrifice some of my um, leisure time to build a website, hire out help, post on Instagram, communicate with clients? Am I willing? I have to believe that that's something that I will do. And I have to every single day, I can and I will. I can and I will. I can and I will have a successful business. Because believing that you are capable and then actually acting on that is different. It's like that whole faith without works is dead, right? If you can say I believe, but then you like don't do anything, it's like, well, that belief is quite literally dead in the water. Okay, so people are always like, do they taste good? I'm like, listen, for the record, it doesn't taste bad at all. But I'm like, why? So you're telling me that there are 50 ground up greens, vegetables, and fruits in here, and you want it to taste like what? Ice cream? Like, it's ground salad. We're not doing this because it tastes good. We're doing it because it's good for our health. But it's not bad at all. I actually like the taste. It's like I look forward to it. And everything tastes better out of a wine glass. Okay, you can. You have to believe that you can. You have to believe that you will. And the third one is you have to believe that you must. So, capable, making sure that you feel capable, taking the action, and then saying, I must. So, this is particularly useful for health goals. Not that it's not for call it, for my athletes, but with health goals, it's believing that I don't have any other choice. I don't have any other out. And it's almost like manufacturing this belief that if I don't, my world is ending. I must. And some people do not like that idea. I can tell you that there is a healthy version of this where my health is so important that I must. The world is falling apart. There are earthquakes on the freeways. I must take care of my health. I must. I don't have a choice. What this looks like for my athletes is, yeah, I just told you to run another 400 at 65 seconds and you're already tired. You must. I know that you can't feel your legs right now. I know you can feel every I can feel every cell in my glute. I said, I know, and you must. You must. And this goes for running a business. I must. And the way this showed up for me, my must came when it was October of 2021, and I had like $30 in my bank account. And I was like, rent's due in 15 days. What am I willing to do? What can I do? And what must I do so that I have you know, so that I have a place to stay? I must. You have to believe that you must. I must do it. And sometimes that, like I said before, that must has to be manufactured because for a lot of you, your health hasn't quite taken a turn where it's like bad or hasn't had any implications necessarily. So you're not feeling that must. For my business, it's initially I was like, "Oh, I'm doing all right." And then there was a lull and I was like, "Oh no." And the must came. So you must do it before you must do it, right? Let's do what we have to do before you have to do it because typically when the must comes, I don't like that word because it reminds me of like stinky armpits. When the must comes, then it's almost too late. Yeah? It's almost too late. So you must. You have to believe that you can, you're capable. You have to believe that you will every single day. And you have to believe that you must. And the fourth thing and the final thing is that you have to be okay with it taking a long time. It took me 6 years for my business to be the point where I'm like, I have too many clients. 6. A lot of people won't tell you this about because it looks like it was overnight, like it looks like it was quick, but there was a lot of back end, like slowly building up a reputation, slowly, getting certifications, putting yourself out there, taking risks. You have to be okay with it taking a long time. And I think that's the piece is so hard for a lot of people because it does require patience. And waking up every morning and going, I can, I will, and I must for a long time is a challenge. It's a challenge. And so it is hard for people to stick these things out. So the fourth thing is that you have to believe and be okay that it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. And maybe it won't, you guys. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't take a long time. But you have to be okay with that. I was listening to a podcast, or some sort of person was saying, when I started my business, I started with the mentality that it was going to take me 3 years. And he said it didn't take me 3 years, but just sitting in that and being like, it's going to take me 3 years, that was a game changer for me as a business owner. I was like, okay, like if I already resigned that it's going to take 3 years, then I'm not in this, like, it's got to happen today. I'm just like plugging away because I know it's going to take 3 years, and that consistency, you will probably accomplish it sooner than your 3-year deadline. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for today. Don't forget to like. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this video. And if you guys would like to pick up your own greens and reds, that's over 100 fruits and vegetables for your digestive tract, for antioxidants, for oxidative stress, which means your skin, your hair, and your nails are, your skin cells are not being oxidized because of these antioxidants. I will leave a link in the description box, but they're always in my description box, so you can go ahead and pick that up. If you're on Instagram, you can find it in the link in my bio. I'm gonna finish this off, and then I've got some administrative stuff to do for my business, and then I'm off. It's not a lot of clients, but I'm traveling a lot today. So it's a longer day for me. My day starts at about 1:30 and I won't get home until 8. So yeah, this is a longer day. This is one of the longest days in my business. One of the things that when I quit teaching was that I didn't want to have, 9-10 hour days. When I was doing athletic directing, it was like, 14-hour days sometimes. And so sometimes I'll want to complain for a second, and God will be like, weren't you working 90 hours a week? It's an athletic director / teacher, and it's like, oh yeah. So that I have to kind of check myself and be grateful that, I get to work 4 hours essentially most days. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to accomplish, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.